All right, everybody. Um, I am back. My name is Brandon. I am the owner of this channel. And this guy commented on our first ever reaction video, and the channel is Carnivore Better Life. He's got 25 subs, so a very small channel. But as I started going through his channel, I saw he had a lot of carnivore content, and yeah, I figured I would go through it, debunk, maybe expose some illogical arguments, and go from there. So this video is the facts behind the carnivore diet and why it works. I always find that really funny whenever I see like carnivore videos talking about like the facts behind it, because usually if they do state what they consider like facts, they usually don't provide any sources or any references for their claims. So just really quick before I start the video, if I look at the description, yep, no sources whatsoever. So there is a source to the video, I guess, that he's going to reference. So we could check if there are sources there at the end, but let's get started here.
Hello everybody and welcome to Carnivore Better Life. This is my channel where I talk about my journey and how I became a carnivore. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about how and why it works so well. I have prepared some clips for you guys out of an amazing video that I think you guys will enjoy. So the full video is in the link down below if you want to see the full video, but I think you'll enjoy the clips here. So enjoy the clips, guys, and I'll talk to you after.
January is World Carnivore Month, and I know quite a few people that have done it that have had some serious results.
And we learned 20 years ago that Brussels sprouts alone had over 136 identified human carcinogens in them. This is why no one likes Brussels sprouts, right? You know? And that's why, right? You know, that bad taste, that bitter taste is your brain and your tongue, which are sophisticated machines, and they can tell you, like, hey, this is bad for you, spit it out.
I hate that argument. That's such a dumb argument. Kids love cookies and candy. And cookies and candy are definitely awful for your health because they're processed and they have a lot of added sugar and they're devoid of nutrients. So just going off of your taste palette, especially as a child who literally has no knowledge of nutrition, is definitely not going to be helpful or advantageous. The other thing is, all that is fear-mongering, because there is a difference between something containing maybe a compound that's carcinogenic at a certain amount and something actually being a known carcinogen to humans, right? So like cigarettes, we know are class 1 carcinogen, plutonium, asbestos, and funny enough, processed meats. They're all class 1 carcinogens. Brussels sprouts are not. And actually what's funny about that is you'd think that if Brussels sprouts were carcinogenic, you'd see cancer rates going up for people who consume Brussels sprouts. And if there's a study or if there's any epidemiology showing higher Brussels sprout consumption equals more cancer, please show me. I'm all ears. But as far as I know, that doesn't exist. So again, there's this fear mongering. And I've seen that Anthony Chaffee video or that clip where he talks about how many carcinogens are in Brussels sprouts. But he doesn't actually go over at what levels are those carcinogens actually carcinogenic towards humans, and how many Brussels sprouts you have to eat to even notice any effects, if anything, right? So again, just it feels dishonest, and of course, probably doesn't cite any sources.
Recently, there's been quite an uptick in people talking about the carnivore diet. People are shredding fat and stacking on muscle, all while improving their health at the same time. This was initially made popular by many carnivore advocates on Joe Rogan's podcast. The carnivore diet may appear to be a new and trendy concept, but humans have been eating mostly meat for the majority of our evolutionary history. This stable isotope data shows that humans have one of the highest carnivore ratings of any animal. Humans did not begin to rely more heavily on plant-based food until the development of the agricultural revolution about 10,000 years ago.
Again, why would we care, right? Again, what we did thousands and thousands of years ago, we have developed new technology. We have developed new ways of living far beyond what anybody thought was possible, right? We have cars, we have electricity, we have heating in our homes, we have antibiotics that prevent disease. Back then, the average lifespan was a lot shorter because of diseases that we couldn't prevent. I don't see how what we did 10,000 years ago or thousands of years ago should determine what we should do now, right? It just doesn't seem It doesn't add up to me, right? If the best science we have, if that supports eating a whole food plant-based diet, if that supports using other modern technology, maybe fortified foods like supplements, why would we not follow that? And instead look at isotopes of what we were eating thousands of years ago. Notice how we don't do that with any other behavior. We don't look at how we were treating other humans thousands of years ago and say, oh, why aren't we still doing that? Right? We don't look at how we were keeping ourselves warm thousands of years ago and say, oh, why aren't we still doing that? It's only with this one food, and it's because people have a desire to continue eating however they want to eat. They don't actually care about science or the truth, right? In my opinion, I think they don't want to give up their chicken nuggets. They don't want to give up their steak and butter and their animal flesh, right? They would rather continue to exploit and abuse and kill billions of other animals instead of following the science and changing their behavior.
Another concern people always worry about is this diet's lack of fiber. Yes, I eat a zero fiber diet. People often think, doesn't that make you constipated, and don't you need fiber to properly digest and feed your gut bacteria? After all, we've always been told that fiber is what makes us regular. Fiber is actually indigestible by humans, and in fact, fiber is an anti-nutrient. An anti-nutrient is a natural or synthetic compound that interferes with the body's absorption of nutrients. As shown in this graphic, the more fiber in the diet, the worse the constipation was. Now, what about a zero fiber diet?
So the question is, what happened to those, the majority of those in the study, who had zero fibre in their diet? This is not a mistake. I didn't just forget to put something in the side there. Now, not one patient on the zero fibre diet had any symptoms.
Now that we have fiber...
So that seems dishonest to me as well, because there's no context as to, because he says not one patient experienced symptoms on a no-fiber diet. It doesn't say why there were patients in the first place. Were those people already experiencing digestion issues? Because, for example, there are certain conditions where definitely increasing fiber is not ideal, right? So I don't know if you're having like an IBS flare-up or a Crohn's flare-up. Yeah, you may have to eat certain foods or avoid certain foods that are maybe higher in fiber or whatever. Again, I'm not well versed on that, but it would make sense that there are certain circumstances where you want to dial back the fiber, right? But to just have that random chart without any context, again, seems a little dishonest. And also, how long did they not experience those symptoms, right? So let's say if they were having flare-ups of, constipation, anal bleeding, bloating, whatever, you stopped all the fiber completely and the symptoms went away, but for how long, right? Were they able to stay regular for multiple months, for a year, without fiber? And there's a lot of health benefits to fiber. I am going to link studies to fiber, and then, of course, this anti-nutrient garbage that, again, is not supported. So I'm going to link studies debunking the anti-nutrient claim as well as support of fiber.
Out of the way, what could be the issues with plants? After all, aren't they loaded with vitamins and minerals? The issue with plants is not so much the nutrients, but the anti-nutrients. Plants are just like animals in the sense that they want to survive so that they can spread their seed and reproduce. Plants can't run away or
What's so funny about this is he's using a clip from Sausage Party, I think was the name of the movie, where essentially everything in the grocery store is sentient. But the animals that they eat, that carnivores eat, they are sentient. Right? They're individuals who are experiencing life. So I just love how in any carnivore video, they never show the animals being slaughtered or going into slaughterhouses, or they never actually show the reality behind the steak, right? They promote the diet. They promote how good the diet is, how healthy the diet is, but they don't actually show any of the footage that's involved, or they don't actually show what's involved with getting the steak on the plate, right? The abuse, the exploitation, the slaughter. I find that very kind of ironic here.
Physically fight back since they don't have legs or claws. So this is why they must resort to chemical warfare. All plants on this earth contain chemicals and toxins that are meant to deter predators from eating them. This is another reason why nutrient requirements are much higher on a standard diet. Not only are nutrient requirements lower on a carnivore diet, but meat is one of the most nutrient dense foods that a human can eat.
Yeah, so I mean, certain plants may have certain like defense chemicals, but again, what matters again, this is just more fear mongering. What matters isn't if they have chemicals. What matters is, do those chemicals affect humans, and in what quantity, and how do they affect humans, and this and that. Any type of defense chemicals, the benefits of eating whole food plants far outweigh any drawback from any type of chemicals or defense chemicals in plants, right? And again, if this were true, we would see populations of people that consume more plants have worse health outcomes, right? So if there were defense chemicals or carcinogens in plants causing illness, causing nutrient loss, or preventing nutrient absorption, we would see a higher amount, we'd see a worse health outcome for populations that consume more plants. And that's not the case. We see the opposite, right? More plant-based populations have better health outcomes typically. And in terms of the nutrient requirement, it's not that it's required, it's just that, there are certain conversions, like we convert plant-based vitamin A into retinol. We convert plant-based omega-3s, like I think it's EPA and ALA into DHA, or one of those, right? So there are certain conversions, so we may have to consume a little more. But if you're eating enough calories and a variety of food on your plant-based diet, you're going to have no issues. If you are worried, just take a fortified supplement, right? So there are plenty of workarounds to this, but it's not just about what the good that you're getting from a certain food item. It's about the bad that you're getting as well, right? So the downside to plants, just nutritionally, obviously we know the big downside to animal products or animal flesh is that we have to kill and exploit sentient animals. But just comparing nutrition, the downside to plants is, yes, you do have to maybe get higher quantities of certain nutrients because of the conversion, or fiber and stuff like that. So you do have to eat a variety of foods. You do have to maybe eat a higher amount of certain nutrients, get enough. But the good that you're getting in return, you're getting fiber, you're getting healthier fats, you're getting polyphenols, you're getting antioxidants, you're getting a whole host of nutrients, micronutrients, and beneficial compounds that lead to or increase longevity, right? They have been shown to promote better health outcomes. What you get with animal products, yes, you might get a lot of vitamins and minerals in certain animal products that are very bioavailable, especially with protein if it's complete protein, but you're getting cholesterol, you're getting saturated fat, which leads to an increased cholesterol, which is associated with an increased risk of heart disease. You're getting carcinogenic compounds. In dairy, you're getting mammalian hormones, not phytoestrogens like in soy, which don't affect your hormones, but you're getting mammalian estrogen, which actually can affect your hormones. So, what I would say that what you're getting with animal products, the bad outweighs the benefit when you look at what you can get from plants,
while simultaneously being in a very bioavailable form. Take creatine, for example. It is one of the most studied supplements on the planet, which has been associated with increased endurance, muscle power, strength, and improved mental cognition. And many scientists have concluded that the optimal amount is 3 to 5 grams per day, which is precisely the amount that is found in 2 to 3 pounds of red meat.
There we go, guys. Isn't that?
So if you want creatine, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of plant-based sources of creatine. So if you want creatine, you can just take a plant-based source. The desire to get creatine is not a justification for killing another individual, right? I'm sure there's creatine in humans. I'm not going to kill a human just to get some creatine when they have plant-based supplements of it. And this guy says, there you go, guys, as if that was the most fact-backed and peer-reviewed, science-backed segment. Again, nothing was cited. I didn't see even a single study. Now, forget about citing it in the description. I didn't actually even see a single study like a blip or like a snippet at all. And the reason why, again, I'm going to cite for certain things like fiber and stuff, I always put citations in the description. But here's the thing that you guys got to understand, right? When it comes to carnivore videos, they are the ones making health claims, right? So that's why I'm asking for sources. If I were to make a video talking all about the benefits of plant-based diets, which I may or may not, I don't know. I'm mostly focused on the morality, right? So I don't really care. We could grant that plant-based diets are healthy. We could grant that carnivore diets are healthy. We could grant that anything's healthy. I'm more so concerned about exploring logic and arguments for not exploiting and murdering other individuals just for us to derive taste pleasure, right? Just for us to get a perceived benefit that actually isn't proven. But if I were to do a whole video on plant-based diets, I would provide sources, right? I'm not just going to make claims without actually providing evidence or science to support those claims. With carnivore videos, they almost never provide sources. This video is a great example so far. Again, we're going to check the cited video if they provide sources at all. But again, all of this is being narrated to show a certain conclusion, but there's no peer-reviewed science. So I don't understand how they can be concerned with nutrition when they're not actually even citing nutritional science.
That wild? I think that's pretty wild, man. There's a lot of different things in this video. So it's let's go through some of the points that they talked about here. One of the things that struck me immediately when I watched this was that like when something tastes bad, it's probably bad for you. That was like, yeah, I remember that as a kid, right? You would get something that your parents were trying to get you to eat that they thought was like healthy, and it's typically a plant, right? Like Brussels sprouts or kale or one of those things that you just hate as a kid. It turns out there's a reason why it's not didn't taste well for you. It's because it's actually trying to kill you. So yeah, be careful what you try to make your children.
Again, this is a horrible argument. There are a ton of examples of unhealthy foods that children may find palatable. Also, I wasn't a huge fan of like chicken, right? So like I wasn't a huge fan of a lot of meat as a kid. I like chicken nuggets, right? Kids love processed foods. Chicken nuggets that are breaded, that are fried, French fries, cookies, candy. I love that stuff as a kid, right? Because you don't know any better, and it's supposed to, like, it's designed to taste really, really good, right? So that's a horrible argument. I don't know how these people still use that argument. That doesn't make any sense to me. And again, you may not like the taste of something. It doesn't mean they're trying to kill you, okay? I'm not a huge fan of kale, but some people really like kale. I love carrots and broccoli. Some people may not like broccoli. I don't understand.
And eat if they don't want to eat it, then don't force them to, because it's probably a natural response that's actually very good for them. And also, like, our brain and tongue are sophisticated machines, like Kathy says there, and that's probably a good idea to listen to that. So that immediately captured me when I was watching this video, and there's a bunch of good things in this one here. Also, the fact that we didn't used to eat plants at all. Like the indications are that we ate mostly meat back in like before 10,000 years ago. Now something probably happened 10,000. We know something happened 10,000 years ago that completely changed the.
So again, we may have had to rely on killing animals for sustenance or for calories and protein and whatever thousands of years ago when we didn't have the technology we have now. That doesn't mean that it is optimal for our health. And that doesn't mean that we should continue doing so, even though we have more secure and reliable food sources, right? Again, who cares about what we did thousands and thousands of years ago if the health outcomes show that we should be doing something else, right? And again, there's a couple different studies. I mean, there was one that just came out that a certain group, I forgot the group, but I'll link it in the description, a certain group was actually eating 80% plants and only 20% meat, right? So we don't know that much about each individual diet, right? We can only track what we can track. There's a great, I think, segment in that study because it talks about how animal bones last a lot longer than plant fibers, right? So who knows exactly how much plant matter we were consuming back then, because it biodegrades, right? It doesn't last as long. So again, to cite something that's kind of up in the air, and also, even if it wasn't, is irrelevant to what we do today, I don't see the point of that.
The climate of the planet. But I don't want this video to be 1 hour long. So I'm not going to go into deep to that. But essentially, he's right that something changed in the environment that killed off many of the big animals that we ate back then, like the mammoth, for instance, and some other huge animals. We don't know if they were farmed, or if whatever happened, they couldn't bring them with them or whatever, but something definitely happened that changed our food completely. And because of necessity, we had to eat plants to survive. There was no other option. And that's an indication that people had to go underground to survive too. So that.
Again, that's just not adding up. Forget about, like, again, he's not providing any sources, but why? Like what they said in the video was until about 10,000 years ago when we developed agriculture. Wouldn't it make sense that if we can grow reliable, calorically dense plant foods in abundance using cropland, that we would do that instead of having to go out and hunt? We'd have to trek down animals. We'd have to put ourselves in danger potentially to hunt and kill other animals when we could just grow the food that's more efficient to grow. Right? Wouldn't that make sense? Why does it have to be? Why would it be the case that we only develop agriculture because we ran out of animals to kill, or we didn't have access to animals to kill to eat? Right? I don't think that's what happened. But again, if there's a source, please show me. I'll read up on it. I just don't think that's how it happened. But even if it was, that wouldn't matter anyway.
There's even more of that. So essentially, our original food source disappeared. So that's a big deal. And then slowly got rebuilt. But by then, people were already eating plants, and it's not great. Because we've become weaker since then. Like, we used to be taller. We used to be in better health and stronger. And I think also there's a good chance that like the numbers from what we have in the earliest numbers that we have were calculated wrong, because they took in child survivability too. So the like how long people lived was skewed, and also like people got killed by animals and other stuff. And
okay, again, this is all just like speculative gibberish, right? He's not providing any sources for this, and that's fine if he's just here to speculate and to like talk about what may have happened, this and that. But the title of the video is The Facts Behind the Carnivore Diet and Why It Works. So far, he has done nothing to demonstrate any facts or why the carnivore diet works, right? I don't understand. He's just kind of saying a bunch of stuff about what happened thousands of years ago.
There's a lot of issues with the data that we have from like 300 years, 400 years ago or something like that.
And also, if it's true that we have gotten smaller or weaker, again, I would like to see a study. I'd like to see something. I don't think that's true, but there could have been a number of reasons why that is the case, right? If just speculating off the cuff here, but if our technology got better, right? We developed modern medicine. We can ward off diseases. We had industrialized agriculture, so we didn't have to put as much effort into food. That could be a really easy way, or a really simple explanation for why we may be we may have gotten quote unquote weaker, right? Our muscles maybe didn't have to develop as much. We may not less people were dying, right? So now it wasn't only like the strong survive because we have modern medicine, so we could prevent more death of humans. So now there are weaker, quote unquote, maybe physically weaker people that are living longer. So that may look like the population as a whole is getting weaker. Like, there could be a number of reasons. Why would it be the case that having calorically dense or crop agriculture, calorically dense crops like wheat and soy and stuff like that, why would it be the case that that would cause us to get weaker or be smaller? I don't think that just doesn't make sense to me.
It's very, very unclear. So yeah, there's a chance that we probably lived way longer before 10,000 years ago. But again, let's not go into deep there.
But you can't say that because we don't have that data.
And then the big thing that actually every time I talk to people, they get super shocked by this with the fiber thing, like that you don't need fiber. Your body can't actually process fiber.
I think that's the point. So I'm pretty sure the point of fiber is that it's indigestible, right? And it helps your digestion, whether it helps feed the microbacteria, whether it helps push things along, whether it helps absorb certain compounds. I've heard that. So again, I'm going to link some peer-reviewed studies showing the health benefits of fiber, but saying that fiber is indigestible, I think that's the point. You're not really, like, it's not like a gotcha. Like, hey, fiber's indigestible. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all know that. So I don't know. Again, that's not like a debunk of fiber or anything.
Into anything. So fiber goes in, fiber comes out. It's as simple as that, right? It doesn't get treated or anything by the body, and there's indications that it actually damages your stomach lining and all that.
Where are the indications?
I would not recommend eating fiber unless you eat sugar. If you eat sugar, then
you would not recommend eating fiber. I'm sorry. What are your credentials? Do you have a reason to not recommend that people eat fiber? Like, these are pretty serious recommend. Like, you can't just say, I recommend you don't eat fiber in your diet. I can't.
Fiber, like, soaks in sugar and gets it out without you eating too much or consuming too much of it. But I would, if you're doing carnivore, man, do not eat fiber. It should not be necessary. If anything, just like it will give you constipation, so just don't do it.
Fiber will give you
I would never eat
constipation.
fiber.
Carnivore, better life.
And also, I want to mention John Harvey Kellogg, the guy who created Kellogg's, was a complete maniac. Like, not only was he against anything from animals.
Is he talking about the Kellogg's guy?
He was a complete crazy person when it came to belief and like church-going guy that was completely extreme. And I think one of the biggest...
More extreme than thinking your whole diet should be comprised of dead animal body parts? More extreme than wanting to continue a system of exploitation, abuse, and murder of other individuals that have the capacity to suffer and experience life? That extreme? You know, I don't know about the Kellogg's guy. Maybe he was a quack, but that much of a quack? You know, like, your background is literally steak and, like, bacon or something next to, like, candlelight? Some kind of... It almost seems like you're worshiping the animal flesh. So I'd be careful who you call a quack.
Failures in our time, in our history, when it comes to food, was probably that they listened to this madman, because he created some of the worst dietary guidelines and some of the worst foods that you can feed your children. And he should have been imprisoned or something, like in a madhouse, because that's freaking insane. Yeah, and then plants are toxic. And
Plants are toxic.
They actually absorb or like prevent you from absorbing nutrients. This is a big thing, man, because a lot of vegans are talking about that you can get plant nutrients instead.
You can.
And they work just as well as meat. Turns out that's not the case.
Show me the
there's
study.
a very big difference. First of all, the nutrients and the proteins and all that you get from plants is not the same as what you get from meat. It's a less clean version of it. And it also...
A less clean version. I don't even think he knows what he's saying. I think he's just heard stuff from different carnivore channels and he's just repeating it. So like I mentioned earlier, there are certain vitamins that we have to convert, right? The word that carnivores love to use, it's maybe less bioavailable in the sense that we don't get like preformed vitamin A, right? We have to convert it. But again, when you look at the package deal, right? You can't just look at, what are the vitamins? When you look at the package deal, plant-based diets seem to be more healthy as a whole, right? So just because we have to convert certain vitamins, I wouldn't call it less clean. I don't even know what that means. But yeah, we have to convert certain things. Or we may need certain vitamins in higher amounts because, the absorption process with plants. What does that have to do with anything, right? That doesn't actually tell us that if we do get enough vitamins from plants, or if we consume enough calories or we consume enough variety of plants that we get all of the vitamins, doesn't tell us which diet is more healthy or not, right? Again, it's just this fear mongering. It's just this whole idea of, gotta be careful. Some plants, you can't get it directly. It's dirty. It's like, show me the study. Show me the study that when people consume a variety of plants and make sure they get all the vitamins and minerals they need, that there are worse health outcomes. Show me the study. It's not going to be there. And also, there's been a lot of toxicity, or what's it called, hypervitaminosis, because of the preformed vitamins in meat or in certain non-vegan supplements. Like, people have gotten hypervitaminosis from retinol, actually, from preformed vitamin A. So, again, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying, man.
has all the plant toxins in it. And again, plants can't run away. They can't fight back. So the only thing they can do is make it so you won't eat them. Like make it taste bad, make it toxic for you, like you feel bad when you eat something like that. That's the only way they can defend themselves.
Who's feeling bad when they're eating a whole food plant-based diet? Again, you might have a certain food intolerance, but like I said, or you might, unless you're under eating, which we see a lot with ex-vegans or raw vegans. But I don't know who's feeling bad. Like, I feel bad when I eat some ice cream, right? I feel bad when I eat certain like junk foods, but I don't feel bad when I'm eating whole grains, plants, legumes, fruits and vegetables. So I don't know. And the science supports that as well. It's not just an anecdote.
So yeah, plants are trying to kill you. Always remember that, guys. Plants are trying to kill you. So don't eat plants. Make the cows eat the plants, and then the four stomachs will treat the toxins out of it, and then you eat the meat that's clean and nice and gives you all the good stuff, right? And
You You'll eat the meat that's clean and nice and gives you all the good stuff. That's the most vague sentence I've ever heard in my life, number one. Number two, there's nothing clean and nice about the flesh on your plate, right? We're talking about killing, I'll go in order. We're talking about exploiting, abusing, and murdering other individuals just for you to have some taste, pleasure, or some perceived benefits that are not supported by the science, right? Or I'll say this. Even if we grant, let's say that everything is saying is or not everything, but let's say we grant that you could be healthy on a carnivore diet. The science supports that you can be healthy on a plant-based diet, right? So at the end of the day, you are only continuing this cycle of abuse and death or killing for taste pleasure, right? That's all it is. Because if you could be healthy on either diet, not saying you can, I think the carnivore diet's garbage, but let's say you could, why wouldn't you choose the diet that involves less exploitation, less murder, and less abuse? Doesn't make sense to me.
And then, meat is also one of the most nutrient-dense foods that you can eat. Liver has all the minerals too, if you need minerals and stuff and things. Liver, heart, and a few other things will give you all the vitamins and all that you need. And also meat in itself also gives you some vitamins and it gives you all the nutrients that you need. So there's no reason to eat all these supplements if you just eat a heavy meat diet. I do recommend some, if you don't like eating liver or like cow hearts or something like that, or if you can't get it, there's some places where.
What's so funny is carnivores, for as much as they say that our diets are deficient because we require supplementation, which again, who cares, right? Modern technology brings new way of life, right? If we don't have to exploit and kill other animals because of a pill that has certain nutrients, I'm going to take the pill. But separate from that, carnivores love their supplements. I can't even count the amount of carnivore videos I've seen where people are promoting electrolytes. People are promoting testicle powder, bone, heart, and marrow powder. Paul Saladino with his heart and soil stuff, he's super famous, or he always promotes that. So for as much as carnivores like to rag on vegans, I see quite a bit of carnivores taking supplements. So
you actually can't get this. You can take a supplement like Organ Mix. It's one of the good ones that is actually organs chopped up and put in a little capsule that you can then take as a supplement. It will give you all the vitamins and all the stuff that you need. And that's.
Oh my God. Okay, you're saying if you don't have access to organs or don't want to eat them, you can just take a supplement. That's what vegans are saying. We're saying, hey, if you don't want to get these vitamins from a dead individual that you exploited, abused, and killed, just take a supplement. What is the difference? What is the difference? I don't understand. If you're okay promoting a supplement in the carnivore case, why in the plant-based option, in the vegan option, is it all of a sudden blasphemy to take a supplement?
That's more or less it, man. When I watched this video and I was already doing carnivore, I was like, yep, this is it, man. This is definitely it. And this is definitely.
Wow, you just got it from just that video. You with no sources, no references, nothing supporting the claims. You heard some dude on the internet saying stuff and you went, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. The perfect excuse I needed to continue eating my fatty bacon, my steak that I love with butter, and to totally disregard the plight and the experience of other individuals, mainly cow chickens and pigs. That's all you needed. That's all you needed to hear was one clip, short clip from a video.
Definitely the right thing to do, and now I understand why it works. So yeah, the full video is called The Carnivore Diet, Why Does It Work So Well? And it's a very good video. It is 12 or 13 minutes long. It's down in the description, guys. Please check it out. Go give the guy a like and give a comment on the video if you want to. It is so informative, and it's probably one of the top videos that I have ever watched. That are so short, at least. We have some bigger ones coming up. That's gonna take a lot more time to put into a video, but yeah, this was pretty good, man. This was really good, and I highly recommend this. So yeah, that's my second video on my playlist. Remember to hit the like on this video, guys, so we can spread the word about the carnivore diet. And I really appreciate you guys watching the full video here. Tell me in the comments what you think. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
He's almost precious. That's what pisses me off. He's almost like a precious little European dude. But I just can't. Like, the amount of misinformation, dude. I'm sorry if you end up watching this. I'm sorry to tell you. This one's on you, buddy. I don't know. And as promised, we're gonna take a look at the video he put in.
January's World.
All right, so this is by Stoium, Carnivore Diet. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Shred fat and stack on muscle with Carnivore plus HIIT. Okay, there's a link. Free ebook. Okay, another link. Private Stoium fitness community. Okay, another link. So far we got links to his, I'm assuming, streams of income maybe, besides the free one. And then we have, okay, free evolutionary insights to dispelling fiber myths. Discover the evidence underlying this technique approach. Okay, I don't. Timestamps. Okay, so yep, as I figured, not a single source, not a single reference, nothing whatsoever.